Hello everyone and welcome to uh, this month's book Butterfly Princess Show Book Club. This is a monthly show along with my monthly travel lounge shows where so that happens on a monthly basis. But I also do weekly interviews with various people. So if you would like to be a guest on the Butterfly Princess Show, please email me at butterflyprincess93@outlook.com to book a guest slot. So this month's books feature on the Butterfly Princess Show Book Club is The City of Tears by Arthur Kate Mosse. Now this is a historical fiction book. It is it's the second book in the Burning Chamber series of books by Kate Mosse. The first two books, so this is book two in the series. The first book in the series is called The Burning Chambers, and the third book in the series is called The Ghost Ship. Now, this series of books follows the Joubert family who lived in Paris during the Wars of Religion, French Wars of Religion. Now, the Wars of Religion happened in France and in around France between French Catholics and French Protestants who were known as Huguenots. Now, the Wars of Religion were a series of 8 conflicts. Now, these conflicts happened over a period of 36 years. So, the Wars of Religion started in the year 1562 and finally ended in 1598. Now, this book is all about the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre. Now, this happened in France, in Paris, the French capital, and spread throughout other cities in France during the 23rd and the 24th of August 1572. And this took place just after, a few days after, a royal wedding between Marguerite de Valois, who was a French Catholic girl, and the arranged marriage was between her and Henry of Navarre, who was a French Huguenot, and this was an arranged marriage between Marguerite de Valois' mother, Catherine de Medici, and Henry of Navarre's mother, Jeanne de Bray. Now, nobody knows. Now, how Jeanne de Bray died, nobody knows, because Jeanne de Bray died only a few months after arriving in France, in Paris, to arrange this marriage. Some say, she died of natural causes. Others say, Marguerite Catherine de Medici was responsible for Jeanne de Bray's death, because there were rumours going around that Catherine de Medici poisoned Jeanne de Bray by giving her some poison gloves. So that's what the book is all about in a nutshell. And the Joubert family, Minnie and her husband and her husband Pete, who they are now married. So the Reagan family are in Paris to attend this royal wedding, and they're in Paris with their Aunt Salvadora and two young children, Jean-Jacques and Martha. Jean-Jacques is 2 years old and Martha is 7. Now Martha is a very comical character within the book. Say she's only 7 years old, she's very wise beyond the years. You wouldn't think that she was 7 years old, but this tragedy strikes, because I don't want to give too much away, because I would really recommend you read the book. So there's going to be a few spoilers in this discussion. So there is a lot of heartbreak, because um, when the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre starts after the assassination of Admiral de Coligny, who was the Huguenot leader. He's assassinated by the French the um, French Catholics, because they believe that Huguenots are heretics and they want to return France to the one true religion, which is the Catholic religion, not the Huguenots religion. And there's all sorts of tension. So it's quite sad, because the family are deeply affected, even though they escape Paris during the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre unharmed on a ship, and they escape to the Netherlands, Zandijk, and Beheinhof, and they live there. Because Martha has gone exploring of her own accord, because she wanted to go and visit the Chapelle, and she wanted her parents to go with her and nobody could take her. She took her own initiative and went exploring. And during the start of the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, they couldn't find Mama, so they had to leave Paris without her. And throughout the book, as the years pass, it's very sad, because we see Minnie, who is living with a lot of guilt because of the loss of her daughter. She doesn't know if she's alive or dead, but we will soon know that Martha is living in France, but she's living under the name of Marie, Marie Cabanel, with someone else. And she when they are eventually found, when Minnie eventually finds her daughter, it takes Martha a while to realise that they're her real parents, because she doesn't really know about her real family. That she was only 7, and she witnessed the assassination of her uncle, her uncle, who was within, who was within the ranks of Admiral de Coligny. So she witnesses the assassination of her uncle Aymeric, and she doesn't remember that, because it's a period of 12 years until they're fully reunited again. So that's the story in a nutshell, really. And I really enjoyed the book. It was the first book by Kate Mosse that I've read, and I didn't really know much about the French wars of religion before reading this book. I had to research, the French wars of religion, and the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, and I did, and even though that is just a backdrop to the story, it that's just in the background because it's based in historical fiction. When you're reading the book, I would recommend that you do a bit of background research on the French wars of religion and the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, because there is a lot of information out there. I came across a site called worldhistory.org, and it's a really useful encyclopedia. It's the World History Encyclopedia, and it has lots of different articles about historical events, historical figures, anything. If you want to know anything about history or a particular period in history, then the worldhistory.org the historical encyclopedia is the place to go, because they have an article on almost anything. So that's where I got my information from. And I also did a lot of research about Kate Mosse and how she came to want to write about this period, and I found an interview of that Kate Mosse did for History Fest on YouTube, and she did an interview explaining, why she wanted to write this book about with the historical events of the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre in the background. And she was saying that, when she's writing these books about the about the about the about historical events, she does all the practical, the practical research, like the reading and the looking through the archives. But Kate Mosse also does a lot of physical research. So she actually goes and visits the place that she writes about. In this case, Paris, where she said, where in the interview she described how she went to Paris and she walked the actual streets, because in the book, during the wedding and during the start of the St. Bartholomew's Day massacre, you do get a vivid description of how hot it was, and how what the streets were like, all the tension. You could, even though you weren't physically there, you could, through reading the book, you could be transported into your imagination to them streets where you could actually look down and you could see all the tension on the streets. You could visit all the markets and the horrible smells, the rotten meat, the smells of urine and manure in the streets, and everything in between. So how Kate Moss has managed to do that is a stroke of genius, because like through reading this book, you really got a sense of what life was like in 16th century France and Paris, and the tensions of these, because of everything that was due to the wars of religion. And when you look at down through history, all the tensions that have been that have been that have come to the fore because of religion. Like this was set in the years of the 1574 to 1574, 72 to 1594. So obviously you have the wars of religion in France, but you also had in England the reign of Elizabeth I, and during you would have had within that time, you would have had, the Spanish Armada, where Elizabeth I became, wanted to defend the country of England from, Philip II, so there was all this tension um, of like religion and Catholicism and all that throughout the world, not just in France. So it was a very complicated period, and also I might mention this in the prologue. Uh, the author first takes us to 1862, so it's 290 years after the St Bartholomew's Day massacre, and we are transported to a place called Francouk, which is a place in South Africa, on the western Cape of South Africa, and that is where a lot of the Huguenots immigrated to. They didn't only immigrate to Amsterdam, which was why it's called the City of Tears, because when Minnie and her family escaped to Amsterdam, that city in the Netherlands becomes known as the City of Tears, because there are a lot of French Huguenot refugees who end up on the shores of Amsterdam, and who have lost their native homes and are trying to rebuild their lives. And so going back to the in Francouk, which is where the prologue starts. Kate Mosse was actually visiting, Francouk, and she came across this Huguenot Museum, and she visited the Huguenot Museum, and that is what gave her the inspiration, to write about this period in history. And I suppose, that's where we will end up, in future books, maybe in the third book, we will end up in, 19th century South Africa in Francouk. So the so that's the story in a nutshell, really. And I really enjoyed the book because I'm a huge fan of historical fiction, anyways. And I didn't just read the book. I felt like I was transported to all these different places within France, within within the Netherlands. So we started off in Prevert, which is where the Radon family live, and were transported through Paris, and then on the journey to the Netherlands, to Zandijk, and to other places in the Netherlands, and that was down to the genius and the fully vivid descriptions by Kate Mosse. So, like I said, I didn't just read the book as a reader. I was transported to the actual places, and I felt that I was virtually traveling with Minnie and her family to all these different places that they ended up in, because of the vivid descriptions of Kate Mosse. And I've really enjoyed the character of Marty, because I felt that, she was a child way beyond her years. Before she disappeared, she was only 7, and she was way beyond her years. And when when the family had to leave Paris without Martha, you could really, as a reader, you could really feel uh, Minnie's and Pete's pain and anguish of losing a child, and especially when, spoiler alert again, especially when Minnie gives birth to a new daughter who we call Bernard, after Minnie's father, Bernard. She has a lot of guilt towards this child. She feels that she can't love this child. She feels that, she can't bond with this child because of this guilt and pain that she has of physically of having to leave Martha behind. And also you got to, really experience and feel the pain of Minnie and Pete's relationship. They've always been close, and they've always had a loving relationship, but because they had to leave this leave Paris and the daughter behind, you could really feel that, how they sort of drifted apart. And also when they lived in Amsterdam, there was a lot of tension within the walls of religion there, because, of course, you have the introduction of William of Orange, and wanting to return benevolence to the true faith, and so there was all sorts of these tensions, and these and tensions, that you could never get away from. And with regards to the royal wedding, between Marguerite de Valois and Henry Navarre, this wasn't a marriage of love, it was a marriage of convenience to try and end the wars of religion, which obviously failed, because because in the book it was sort of made out that Marguerite de Valois was in love with Henry of Guise. They were lovers, and I felt like Catherine de Medici was very cold-hearted. There's a scene in the book that, again, is so vividly imagined from Kate Mosse, and the scene is that there's a conversation between Catherine de Medici and her daughter Marguerite de Valois, and she sort of like saying to her daughter, all these sacrifices I've made for the good of the country, and I'm not bothered about your happiness. You have to make this work, and God forbid you if you don't make this work. So Catherine de Medici is sort of portrayed as a very cold-hearted person. She isn't a very maternal mother, and so again, all these tensions. It's sort of a boiling point, a big boiling point, and basically, I would recommend the book because it's a very, very good read. And of course, you don't have to read if you want to read the Burning Chambers books in order. You can do, but I would say that you don't have to, because the second, even if you haven't read the first book, The Burning Chambers, then the second book, The City of Tears, is sort of a good book too, as a standalone novel, because it is easily picked up, and it is easy to follow along, even if you haven't read book one of the in the Burning Chambers series. So within the Burning Chambers series by Kate Mosse, there's 3 books. So there's book one, which is the Burning Chambers, book two, which is the City of Tears, um, and book three, which is called the Ghost Ship. And these are the 3 books that follow the chronicles of the Gibert Radon family. So that concludes this month's book club, Butterfly Princess Show book club episode. Please join me for next month's book club episode, which will be on the 26th of November. But I'm not revealing the name of the book. You'll have to check out the Facebook page to learn what the title of November's book club is going to be. That will be released the week before, so the 19th of November, and then the book club episode will be aired on the following week, the 26th of November. You can also follow the Butterfly Princess Show on the following social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. And like I say, we don't just have the book club editions. We also have we have the book club episodes. They are the last Sunday of every month. We also have the travel lounge series, where I take you on a virtual tour of a different country of my choosing. That's on the second Friday of every month. And then we also have weekly interviews, chats with various different people. So like I said, if you would like to be a guest on the Butterfly Princess Show, then please drop me an email at butterflyprincess93@outlook.com, and we can book you a guest slot then. Have a lovely month, and I will see you again very soon. Bye bye.